So a few videos back I talked a little bit about this game that you and your friend play, where you have your friend is going to pick two numbers. So let's say that they pick 3 and 7. I think that's the example I used, and if not, don't really make a difference. And what they're going to do is they're going to tell you that when they add their two numbers together, they get 10. This thing would work. Now, so from your perspective, what you're hearing is that x plus y equals 10. Alright, so simple enough, and I told you that there is not enough information here for you to be able to accurately tell them what their numbers are. You can tell them a relationship between their two numbers, but you can't tell them exactly what their numbers were. You're going to need a little bit more information than that. And here's where we're going to use a bit of the graphs that we came up with in the last video, and we're going to mix it in with our algebra just a little bit more. So imagine that your friend now gives you that extra bit of information that I've been talking about. So they're going to tell you, hey, when I take one of my numbers and I take away the other one, then I get 4. So we get that y minus x is equal to 4. So again, you don't really know which number's which, but you now have another equation that gives you more information about your friend's numbers. And so what we're going to do actually is, now we have two equations here, and if we plot these two equations, then we're going to see something interesting. So let's just do that. So I have here a graph again, and the equations were x plus y equals 10, and we had y minus x equals 4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our plotting process. So let's do it for this first one, and here's a good little chance for us to practice our rearranging skills. So we're going to find everything in terms of y. So rearranging the first one, we get that y is equal to, we're going to take away x from both sides, so we get 10 minus x. And we're just going to do a real quick little table for this. So we're going to have x here, and we're going to have y here. So let's start from -2. Why not? Yeah, why not? And actually what I'm going to do is, just so we get a bit of a better range, I'm just going to skip, use an interval of 2 each time. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go -2, 0, +2, 4, 6, and 8. And then we're just going to look at these, and then, so if we plug in -2 into here, so we're trying to figure out what y is, so we have 10 take away -2. If you take away a negative number, then you end up adding that number. So we're going to get this is equal to 12. 10 take away 0 is just 10. 10 take away +2 is going to be 8. And we have 10 take away 4 is 6. 10 take away 6 is 4. 10 take away 8, that's going to be 2. We're just rattling through these real quick. And let's just plot this thing, same as we did before. So if we have x is -2, y is going to be 12. It's going to be all the way off our graph somewhere. Alright, let's not add that point in just yet then. So let's have a look at this. So 0.4. Alright, I'll tell you what we'll do instead. So every time there's this point here is going to count for 2. I'm going to say, and then that's going to be 4, that's going to be 6, and so on. And then we can just kind of pack these things in a bit tighter. So this will be -2, y will be 12, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we're going to get a point here. So we're just rescaling our graph. So this is going to be 0, so we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 8, so this point here I'm saying is 2, so this is going to be 8. So we have 4 here, we're going to go up 2, 4, 6, and we're just going to create this line that looks a little something like this. And let's just connect these dots up. So yeah, we're going to end up with a line like this. Right, now we're just going to do the same thing with our other equation. So that was y is equal to 10 minus x. So now what we're going to do is same thing. So we're going to have, if my pen would work, it has died on me. So that's y. We're going to rearrange this guy now instead. Is equal to, we're going to add x to both sides, x plus 4. So we're going to draw in another table. So we get x and y, and we'll do, well, same again, we'll start from -2 and we'll work our way up. So if we plug in -2 for x, we get 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Then what we're going to get here is if we have y is equal to -2, add 4, that's just going to give us +2. If x is equal to 0, we add 4 to it, we're just going to get 4. And if we have the, we're going to put x equals 2 in here next, so y is going to be 6. And we're going to keep on just going through this process. I'm just going to do it quickly now, so that's going to be 8, 10, 12. Alright, and we're just going to plot this guy again. So we're going to have -2, +2. That's going to be this point here. 0 and 4 is going to be this point here. 2 and 6 is going to be this point here. 4 and 8 is going to be up here. And we're just going to keep going. I'm just going to do these quickly now. So again, this is just a linear thing, so it's just a line. And yeah, it's going to look something like that. Now what's interesting though, is that there's going to be this single point here where these two lines intersect. And this is an important point because the intersection point is where both equations are true. So in other words, it's going to provide us with the solution. The coordinates to this point is going to solve both of these equations. And that's kind of like just a different way of thinking about equations in general. So imagine we had a point 0, 0, right? And we put x equals 0 and y equals 0 into this equation, then we're going to get 0 plus 0, which is 0. And apparently that should be equal to 10. But obviously that's nonsense, so we've left it off. The line is basically just wherever this equation is true, right? So I don't know, maybe I'm just being a bit confusing, but that's the way to think about it. The line just represents wherever this equation is true. So if these are both true in at one point, then that's our solution. I'm kind of drawing in on a bit now. But if we look at this point, where is it? So we've got the x, well it looks like it's going to be x equals 3 and 2, 4, 6, 7. 3, 7. And that, if you'll recall, are the numbers that your friend started with. So what we've done is we've drawn an interesting sort of relationship between the geometry and the algebra again. So the geometry tells us that intersection points provide solutions to equations. And yeah, so if you end up graphing both of these things, then you provide yourself with an interesting picture. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.